To follow Rome, one of the greatest civilizations of all time, as it degenerated and fractured, is especially painful in view of the parallels to what is happening in America in our own times. Close quote.
Yeah.
What are the parallels that are most striking to you?
The internal loss of confidence, that we're not prepared to stand up and defend ourselves. I mean, there are all kinds of small signs and large signs, but that we have to accommodate people who move here. You know, the old saying was that when in Rome, do as the Romans do. The new one is when in Rome, tell the Romans what to do. Mm. And we're going along with it.
Mm. Tom, let me close this out by getting your kind of a broad civilizational view here. 4th century. Rome's final century is a great power. Of course, it lingers on in Constantinople for another 1,000 years, but 4th century. We have St. Augustine watching from North Africa as his beloved Rome, where he studied, he's a great product of classical civilization, is sacked. And he responds by averting his gaze from this world and writing the city of God. He shifts his attentions to heaven. Mm-hmm. A few decades later, we have St. Benedict of Nursia up in northern Italy. And he's the founder of great monasteries, attempting to hoard, in a certain sense, what learning he can, and hoping that later there will be regrowth. And he adopts a motto which translates from the Latin, to pruned, it will grow again. So is Tom Sowell an Augustine who's insisting on underlying principles and a kind of eternal values, but actually believes that what he is observing is total collapse? Mm. Or is he a Benedict, hoping for, preparing for, doing what he can to initiate rebirth?
Well, I'm at an age where I couldn't play either of those roles.
You look pretty saintly to me, Tom.
You need new glasses, but no, I think it was really. But what I meant about the pathetic aspect of the aftermath of the collapse of Rome is, these heroic efforts, which ultimately paid off, many centuries later. But there were centuries to live through. Imagine
the Dark Ages were dark.
Yes, imagine living in the midst of ruins that you don't even have the knowledge to repair, much less to build.
Mm. Oh, that's what you mean in the passage when you talk about the pathetic attempt to rebuild among the ruins.
Yes.
The sense that there was a civilization here.
And it was all around you. And I think this is part of the reason that the Europe of that era is thought of as a backward-looking civilization. They had good reason to look backwards because the people before them had achieved far more than they were capable of achieving or even sustaining.
Mm. So your fear is that 2 decades from now, Americans will be looking back at, even at the 1950s, a time of growth and American self-confidence and standing up to the Soviets in the Cold War, assuming a large role in the world. That'll be gone, and we'll have the feeling that we're pygmies by comparison with... There's something of this in Tom Brokaw's book, The Greatest Generation.
Yes.
There's a kind of nostalgia, a feeling that those who came just before us were bigger people somehow.
Mm-hmm. They were.
They were?
Yes.
All right. Last question. If you could offer one sentence of counsel to the President of the United States, what would you say, Tom?
Resign.
No, I can't end the program on that. If you could offer one sentence of counsel to some 20-year-old kid who's watching this webcast, and by the way, when we put up a notice that you're going to appear on Twitter or Facebook, you are a rock star to college kids. I want you to know that. So there's hope. You're reaching people. So one sentence of advice to some sophomore or junior who's watching this today and thinks to himself, gee, Dr. Sowell just told me the America in which I'm going to grow up will be a shrunken place.
No. It's not over till it's over, as Yogi Berra said. And I would say to this young person, if we, through some miracle, get through this, please take to heart the lesson of what happens when you vote on the basis of rhetoric and symbolism and instead of using your mind. It doesn't matter how smart you are unless you stop and think.
Dr. Thomassowell, the author of Dismantling America, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for those who have been here, and thank you again. Guys, we are growing. We are at 134 subscribers. So you've been able to watch the video of Dr. Thomassowell, who is an economist and also a social theorist. So he's able to actually analyze historical parallels between the decline of great civilization and also, for example, the Roman Empire. So he's actually just trying to mostly talk about contemporary topics in the United States. So that's what he basically is trying to always just talk about during the interviews or over or through his books. So with the video that you are able to actually go through, you can be able to actually know that he is able to comment and offer insights on what America is currently, and he's trying to say that America is in the brink of collapsing, just like Rome. So that's what he's basically trying to say in that short video. So his books are trying just to bring out factors that could lead to societal decline. So that's what basically Thomas Sowell is mostly talks about. And on this particular video, we can actually see the key insights are morality and culture decline. So he's trying to bring out an example of USA and also comparison, sorry, of USA or similarity to some point of the United States and also Rome. And you can see that he's trying to say that Rome was able to experience the different cultural fragmentation and also traditional virtues, which was able to lead to Rome having, how do I put this? The decadence, the moral decadence. So he's trying to make people in the United States and all over the world, just to take this an example. Yes, it didn't take Rome to be built in one day, and like it says, do as the Romans, when you in Rome, do as the Romans uh, say or do. But he's just trying to say that this needs to be changed, this notion needs to be stopped. We need to focus on our morality and our cultural decline and how it's going to actually affect the United States as a nation. And also, let's use that as a whole world, in fact, because it doesn't have to be actually the United States as we speak. So, another thing he's actually trying to also bring out, even if you go through the book, is economic mismanagement. So you can see that he's able to actually see how Rome, he's actually just bringing a similarity and comparison at the same time. Rome was able to actually, let's say, another thing we are able to actually also identify is corruption. So he's basically trying to say that the leaders are very corrupt, and we can see that he points out that in Rome they were able to suffer from corrupt and incompetent leadership. So, with the modern politicians that we have today, he's trying to say that if they do proceed with such habits of being incompetent, of not being able to take accountability in leadership, they're going to see that this will affect the people. This will affect what those who chose them, who voted for them, and it's going to affect them very through many ways. So basically, if the leaders that currently, it doesn't have to be the United States. That's what I'm trying to actually learn it from here. Even though this whole topic is about how he sees Rome and the United States being similar. So, guys, he's just trying to point out that politicians nowadays have chosen their own self gain over what the people who chose them, who placed them there. They're just there for the sake of themselves, not for anybody else. So, that is not what good leadership is. So, he's against that, and he's really, really, really not supporting this, and he wants it to stop. So, what's your take? Do you think Rome will follow this? Um, there are comments that I was able to point out during the conversation. If you've read the book, or if you're able to maybe debate about it, or if you have a comment, please go down below. Please subscribe my channel. Thank you guys for the support. Have a great time. Bye bye.